Hey everybody, welcome aboard to another episode of Orange Grow 55. So in this video, we're going to talk about this news that out-of-state visitors can start making reservations to the Disneyland Resort theme parks starting June 15th. Okay, this is enormous news. So again, starting June 15th. And now look, I'm going to talk to you about this whole locals park situation. I haven't done a video on this in a little while, and sometimes you got to update the resume. So I want to talk to you guys about this again. So all I've heard for the past, as long as I can remember, really, for the longest time, is that Disneyland Resort is a locals resort. It's a locals park, and it's just really, it's for Californians, right? It's local, okay? Well, okay, that's fine and dandy. But ever since the announcement that, Disneyland was not going to allow out-of-state guests to the resort, I've heard like a drumbeat of constant complaining from online and on social media about when is Disneyland Resort going to allow out-of-state visitors to come to the resort. Now, this is surprising to me because, like I said, for years and years and years and years, all I've heard, the narrative, the consistent narrative, is that this resort is for locals, for Californians. So when I started to hear a lot of complaining that out-of-state visitors can't come to the resort, I'm like, well, what's the problem? It's a locals park, you guys. No one from out of California cares about Disneyland Resort, right? Well, evidently so, because it's been pretty loud in regard to the complaints in regards to not allowing out-of-state visitors. Okay, now here's my thoughts on it being a locals park. It's not a locals park. It's absolutely not a locals park. It has been artificially pumped with locals because of corporate policies. What do I mean by that? If I ran a Target, let's say I was an owner or a franchise owner of a Target store, right? And then I decided, you know what? Anyone over the age of 75, basically elderly, they get 90% discount on anything in the store. Okay? So anyone over 75 in my Target gets a 90% discount in my store. What do you think would happen to the demographics in regards to who visits my location, my Target location? Well, of course, you're going to have a huge influx of people over 75 because they want to make good on that deal, right? So could you then say that Target is an elderly brand? Because, well, if you go to my Target, everywhere you look, there's elderly people. The vast majority of people visiting my Target are elderly. No, of course not. That would be silly. It's my policy that I enacted that created the surge, the huge uptick in elderly, guests, consumers, right? Same thing goes for Disneyland Resort. The monthly payment passes and that push to get more annual pass holders and make it more affordable and more accessible created this whole thing about more locals being in the park. It's not that Disneyland Resort is more appealing necessarily to locals. It's just that the corporate policies that were enacted over these many years have benefited locals and they've taken advantage of it, rightfully so. Okay, that's what's going on. It's not a locals park at its core. It's just that the company policies have been more skewed towards locals, so more locals are coming. Okay, that's what you're seeing here. With the demographics, with why there's so many locals in comparison to tourists. Okay, now I do think that's changing with the reservation system and this new loyalty program that Disney's rolling out. I think the days are the days of locals just kind of popping in and out of the resort and kind of hanging out like a local mall. I think those days are over. I really do. And I think that Disney is focusing more on those tourism dollars, but I don't want to get too far into that in this video. But yeah, that's why there's more locals though. Okay, it's not a locals park. A locals park, in my opinion, it isn't so much about who's at the park at any given time. It's more about awareness. So you have a lot of regional parks, like Knott's Berry Farm or Six Flags over, Houston or whatever. These are local parks. These are parks that specifically cater to the local regional area they're located in. And people outside of that area typically don't even know that park will exist. If you were to interview people in Montana, Maine, New York, Florida, wherever, a lot of people won't know what Knott's Berry Farm is. Why? Because it's a local regional park. Really, it's for Californians, okay? OC Fair, things like that. That's local. Disneyland is a global, very recognizable place. In fact, it's one of the most recognizable places on the planet. It's impossible for it to be a local park. It just is. Now, I want to refer to you to the opening statement for Disneyland, because surely Walt Disney must have put some hints in here suggesting that it was a locals park. So I want to read this, just kind of double check, make sure I'm not wrong. To all who come to this happy place, welcome. Disneyland is your land. Here age relives fond memories of the past, and here youth may savor the challenge and promise of the future. Disneyland is dedicated to the ideals, the dreams, and the hard facts that have created America, with the hope that it will be a source of joy and inspiration to all of California. Wait, what? A source of joy and inspiration to all the world? Nah, that can't be right. Walt Disney must have meant that it was a source of joy and inspiration to all of California. This is a locals park, and it was designed to be a locals park. There's no way that Walt Disney meant that this was supposed to be a global theme park that would inspire the world. That's crazy. Okay, so all snark aside, this opening day speech says it all. Disneyland was designed from day one to be a global park. At its core, it's a global park. Corporate policies in the last few years, 10 to 15 years, have embraced the local annual pass holder, but that doesn't change the fact that it's still a global park. Okay, like I said with my Target analogy, if you have policies that benefit one demographic, one age demographic, one regional demographic, you're going to get more of that demographic. That doesn't necessarily mean the product you're selling, though, is just for that demographic. So the monthly payments, the annual passes, the push for that whole thing, the past, decade or more, has created more locals, but that doesn't mean Disneyland is a locals park. Okay, so that's where I stand on this. Like I said, I've gone over this many, many times. A lot of people still don't really believe me, and that's fine if you disagree with me, but that's my feeling on it. What are your thoughts, though, on the June 15th reopening to everybody, where out-of-staters can come to the Disneyland Resort now? And what are your thoughts on this whole notion that Disneyland is not a locals park? Or do you think it is a locals park? If you do, that's great. Comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you all so much for watching. And as always, have a wonderful, wonderful day.